Another late night for me here, and I just happened to come up with this idea about, and I'm running out of ideas. So if you have anything you want to add that you want me to add to the channel, please drop it below in the comment box. Very important. And also, please hit the like and subscribe. That's very important. I do have a membership section as well, which I have currently uploaded up to 50 videos. So there's more coming here every day. I'll try to upload something new. And if you haven't joined yet, now it's the time. Okay, so thank you for all your support. But let's get into the video. So if you just, let's say you have never trained before, you never even worked out before, should you do a set to failure or perform high intensity training? Well, the goal is yes, you should. At one point, your goal should be to only do one set to failure, and your goal should be to master the movement. That's the number one thing. You have to learn how to train, okay? So for anyone that I take on as far as a personal training client and they have not trained high intensity or have not trained at all, I would usually start out with a very, very simple routine. I would do the full body, okay? I would do 3 sets per exercise, and I would choose a compound movement for each muscle group, whether it's dips, squat, or leg press. Back, would do a rowing machine or a rowing exercise, any rowing exercise. Seated rows, I like seated rows a lot for that purpose, because it helps you develop some sort of skill. And this is really about developing a skill first before you go all out effort, you know, because this training technique, as long as you don't know how to actually perform the movement properly to perfection, you should not be let go all out. You should not be letting yourself or allowing yourself to go to the point of failure unless you're absolutely strict with your form. And that takes time. Some people learn quick, some people take a long, okay? But generally, I would say about 6 to 8 weeks for someone to begin with high intensity training is to easily get into, or to ease into, so to speak, taking one set away each, let's say, the first 2 or 3 weeks you do 3 sets, then you go to 2 sets, and then eventually you end up with 1 set to failure, okay? That's kind of like the goal, all right? So when that takes place, your nervous system becomes more efficient, and allowing you also to perform movements properly. And it's just really a skill kind of thing, you know? And for those that have trained before and trained with fast, explosive movements, I found it to be sometimes even harder is to teach some old dog new tricks, so to speak, right? Because they're so brainwashed and they're so like, you know, they're used to doing the fast speed stuff, you know? They're used to throwing the weight up and letting it down fast and bouncing off their chest and all that. So for me to slow a client down sometimes is extremely difficult. I've noticed that was one of the biggest problems, you know, that I had with a lot of clients, that I couldn't get them to slow down the movement. For some reason, specifically those that have done it in the past and have trained under high volume or have trained with someone else that taught them how to, you know, basically do explosive movements. It's difficult to fix that, but it's not impossible, but it takes time. So yeah, so start off a high intensity training routine. I would say about 3 sets per muscle group, compound movement. Go through the exercises as fast as you can. Don't rush through them. And then later on, start reducing the volume and increasing the intensity as you're getting closer to that last repetition that you know, your goal is to do that last repetition. That'll be the last rep you can possibly do under strict form. Okay, I've just watched some video about this one guy debating that they were talking about. He mentioned it, reps in reserve or something like that, or zero or something like that. I mean, there was this one dude that what's this doctor, or calls himself a doctor or whatever. I don't want to name names, but you probably already know what I'm talking about. But he mentioned something about, he is talking to Lyle McDonald, was his name, and they were talking in regards, or not talking, they were actually fighting with each other in regards to what is the proper way, or whether he he failed in his workout doing the hamstring movement that he performed. So this doctor guy, this big old dude, was performing hamstring curls, and he was saying he wasn't going all the way out, or he didn't have to go that far, because when he gets to a certain point, he rather stops before he reaches his so-called technical failure, whatever that meant. I mean, he meant saying that his form starts becoming shitty and it's worthless to train like this, which I agree on. But the goal is, as a high-intensity trainer, is to learn how to do and avoid that sort of technique failure, which you can, especially then when at this point you're in a machine. You're pretty much in a machine locked into a movement, and it's either you're gonna pull the weight or you don't. That's it. Okay? Avoid all kinds of momentum, or all kinds of throwing the weight, because if you do that, that's when your form becomes shitty, and that's when you injure yourself, right? So you learn as a high intensity guy to train at a certain speed of movement, to do a full contracted position, and you hold that full contracted position. You lower the weight at a slower rate as you lift the weight for the most part of it, okay? When you do that, it's very difficult to fuck this up, okay? It's those that start speeding the movement up during the movement or during the set that are going to cause injuries, or, just looks like terrible form, And, a lot of the guys that are actually big dudes, bodybuilders, pros that I've seen, are horrible to watch. It's horrible to watch what they do. And I'll leave it at that, pretty much, okay? So then, okay, I hope I said what I needed to say, because it's getting too long in the video, and someone just turned on their car behind me, and it's a fucking exhaust from hell, and it sounds like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with it, but I don't know. Anyway, but hear that shit? Yeah, it's the same thing with exercising in the gym, right? Is you make a lot of noise in the gym. I see them always make a lot of noise in the gym, and it's those that make all this noise that don't know how to train in the first place. It's like this. I know I made that mistake when I was doing the HIIT video. I was screaming like a little bitch, but honestly, that was for the video. Yes, it was true intensity. I did not fake this. It was real. But there was a lot of the screaming part of it that I added to it a little bit more. I made it more dramatic, because for all of you to see that and probably get motivated and inspired by it, which I hopefully did a good job with. But anyway, I'm leaving it at that. Train high intensity, but easy way into it, and when your client is ready to do the all-out one set failure, okay, which is the goal in absolute strict form. There's no cheating, throwing the weight. There's no screaming around like this guy. Have a good night. Hit the like and subscribe. Good night, I'm out.